and Padang Bulia. These two waterfalls are an incredible day trip. Tugunagun is probably the most visited of all the waterfalls, but I'm actually sharing with you a little secret here. Padang Bulia is by far one of the most unknown waterfalls that is worth visiting in Bali. This is truly a local secret and a lost LeBlanc find. Although it's a little smaller than Tugunagun, it is no less magical and it is definitely a photographer's dream. You don't have to compete with the crowd and you still get a magical scene. If you're traveling for photography purposes, this little Balinese gate here is actually a very popular photography destination. There's Balinese gates just like this one here all over the island, but this one is, in my opinion, the most iconic. This gate here is actually kind of on the way back from Padang Bulia, so they can definitely be mixed into a day trip together. If you're looking for someone to show you around Bali, I highly recommend Bali Customized Tours. My friend Pancha has showed us around a couple of times, and he's the best tour guide I've ever had. Keeping on the theme of the Balinese jungle, we are now going into the depths. This is Ubud. Ubud is a really cool, kind of yogi, easygoing town that has a very unique Balinese culture. It's built with Ubud is pretty much a must-visit place if you're coming to Bali. It definitely is one of the more popular tourist attractions, so it does get busy. If you're looking for a fun day trip, one of the things you can do is the Ubud Monkey Jungle. Although, again, a bit of a tourist trap, it is quite fun to be able to see all these monkeys hanging out. Also worth noting, if you're looking to do a little interior decorating with your house, Ubud is full of these local craft shops. The thing that I love most about Ubud is there's some incredibly relaxing hotels or villas that you can stay in. We stayed in one place that was called the Glamping Resort, and essentially we felt like we were in the middle of the jungle, but with the comfort of nice amenities and great food. Cinnamon. Apparently it has some of the best uploading speeds in all of Ubud. Good internet can be very challenging at times in Southeast Asia. One thing I will definitely caution you on though is that Ubud is surrounded by rice paddies, and rice paddies are inhabited by insects.
I don't know if you can see this, but look at this thing on our window. My god, it literally just ate them off. It has it in its mouth. This.
There's a lizard on the wall.
They're building a nest in my room.
Lizards, so what, man? Go get lizards in Canada.
As soon as night struck, there was a couple villas we stayed in where the open concept became our worst nightmare. Just make sure you're prepared because, you know, it might just bug some people. We are now halfway. Number 5 is actually a place that's not in Bali, but it's close enough I thought I would include it. These are the Gili Islands. I've visited countless islands in my life, and the Gilis are some of my favorite. There's simply nothing more laid back. There are no cars here, there is only pedal bikes. That basically gives you an idea of the pace on the island. Everything is very slow moving, everything is very relaxed, and you can stay in fairly nice accommodations to budget backpacker accommodations, basically the full spectrum, but definitely expect to spend more money on accommodation, on beer, and on food. Everything will be about twice the price, if not more. The Gilis actually had surprisingly great nightlife as well, which is something I wasn't counting on but definitely enjoyed. A lot of people will come here with the intention of staying a day or two and end up staying a full week. You can definitely find yourself getting in a bit of the nightlife routine. They actually have some snorkeling tours and they're only like $5 or $10. They're super affordable. You're on a boat for half the day, they give you a snorkel, goggles, and they even bring you to a place where you can get some food. Now that's pretty much where they make most of their money because there is a markup on the food, but it's totally worth the day trip. Even if the snorkeling was very mediocre at best, it's a great way to meet people and it often leads to a great night out. Of course, one of the main activities of being in the Gili Islands is simply sitting on a recliner chair and drinking a beer. The beer of choice in Indonesia is called the Bintang, and I must say it is some of my favorite beer. Now, the next on the list is Kuta, and Kuta is actually a place that has very mixed reviews. Depending on who you talk to, some people will say they loved it, some people will say they hated it. Tons of people come here to party, get cheap food, cheap drinks. Essentially, it's the most westernized part of Bali, and it's pretty much the nightlife capital of the island. This is definitely a place that a lot of backpackers like to come, but there are high-end budget people that stay here in the nicer hotels and resorts. it has pretty much everything for every budget. If you're just wanting to get into surfing and you're looking for a great beginner's place, Kuta actually has a beach that's fantastic for that. The waves are very manageable and you can pretty much go down to the beach and rent a surfboard on any single given day. There's no security deposits, no insurance forms to fill out. You simply give a guy like $5, he lends you a surfboard and you're off. Now, if you're one of those people that need your Starbucks fix, you won't have a hard time finding one in Kuta because it has everything from Starbucks, McDonald's, and pretty much every other popular restaurant chain. Similar to Seminyak, I give it about a 0 on the adventure scale, but if you're just looking to chill out, enjoy an affordable cost of living from accommodation to food, then Kuta could be your place. Now, number 4 is somewhere I have never been before. This is Uluwatu. This is a place that people absolutely rave about. Uluwatu is in the very southern tip of Bali, and one of the best things about it is that you have a much quieter environment, but you still have amazing villas, hotels, restaurants, and some of them are even built on the side of a cliff. There's a few very iconic sites here, including cliffside temples, and I highly recommend you add Uluwatu to your list. The footage you see here is not Uluwatu, but it gives you a bit of a feel for the area. I will be going slightly undeveloped and quite mountainous. You can definitely try to rent a scooter, but this is one of the few places where I think it does make sense to have a driver. There are 2 very notable lookout points. This one right here that basically looks like a dinosaur head, and on the other side of Nusa Penida, there's this one right here. Staying in Nusa Penida will definitely cost you a little bit more than the mainland because it's not overly developed, but it is very up and coming, so be ready for more development. I highly recommend you get here as soon as possible because this might not be the same story in 5 years, and these viewpoints might become a whole lot busier. Accommodations range from budget to medium scale. I don't believe there's anything too high-end on the island, but again, that could quickly change. That has been my top 10, guys. I hope you liked it. My name is Christian, also known as...
I have to get rid of the clouds there because you wouldn't be able to see anything otherwise. Here we are in Bali. There's our map. We're just coming up to these amazing volcanoes. Let's go to that mode. Actually, no, we'll turn off the auto thingy. And we'll go to that mode. I'll take the old girl for a ride. Supposed to be some crater lakes and things in these volcanoes. Cool. I'm really enjoying Bali actually. not to eat any crisps, because that would be irritating in the microphone. You know, if I ever went to Bali, I'd like want to see it from the air. Really would. It's a great thing about YouTube, you just type in Bali and see what comes up and you can see what people are into. And hey, look, if you want to go all the way to Bali to sit next to a pool and get pissed, you know, you can do that in Spain, mate, I'm sorry, but I ain't flying all the way to Bali to do that. If I'm going to Bali, I want to see the shit, you know, I want to see. Super cool. Some more links up ahead.
Bali, one of the most sought-out travel destinations in the world.
Why?
The island is ideal for people looking to experience a tropical paradise with a little bit of everything. My name is Alan Su. In the summer 2017, I had the opportunity to spend roughly around 2 weeks in this tropical paradise. Bali has everything you'd want in a tropical destination. White sandy beaches, densely filled jungles, rich local culture, excellent food, and perhaps the friendliest and most genuinely warm people I've ever met. I decided to make this video guide for people interested in traveling to Bali for the first time, and to serve as an inspiration for activities on the island. As such, many of the tips and advice in this video are geared towards first-timers. First, some facts about Bali. Indonesia is estimated to consist of more than 17,000 islands, where many of them are difficult to name or even count. Bali is an island and province of Indonesia. The island sits between the larger island of Java to the west and the island of Lombok to the east. Bali has a population of around 4.3 million people, where most of them are of Indonesia's Hindu minority. About 85% of Bali's population follows Hinduism. When you travel around Bali, you'll very often see many Kanang Sari. Kanang Sari are daily offerings made by the Balinese Hindus. These offerings act as a form of self-sacrifice in taking the time and effort in thanking for the peace bestowed upon the world. As such, many small shops lay their offerings near the sidewalk. Therefore, as a heads up, try to pay attention to them and avoid accidentally stepping on the offerings. Price. Price-wise, Bali is very inexpensive and should be affordable for any travel budget. Transportation is fairly cheap as well. Depending on your destination, grabbing a taxi can cost around 100,000 rupiahs to go from the airport to either Kuta or Nusa Dua, which is around $8 or €6. Food can cost anywhere between 10,000 to 150,000 rupiahs, which is around $11 or €9. It really depends on your taste and willingness to spend on food, as Bali has a bit of everything from high-class restaurants to a small street kitchen just around the corner. So you don't need to spend a lot of money on food unless you want to. As for shopping, the pricing is as you would expect in any country if you aim to shop for any known fashion brands. As for activities, kayaking, scuba diving, private tours, the price varies. Try to do your own research online prior to booking, as this will help you avoid being taken advantage of. Prior research is always key, especially when traveling to foreign destinations. Also, remember to bring lots of sunscreen, and I mean a lot. Let's begin.
Actually.
When you travel to Bali, you will most likely land in Denpasar International Airport. From Denpasar, we booked a private transport all the way up to Ubud. Ubud is a town far removed from the nightlife party scene of South Kuta. The town is known for its lush greens, exquisite rice paddies, high foothills, and is regarded as the cultural center of Bali. We suggest spending around 2 to 3 days in Ubud, as that will provide you with ample amount of time to explore what Ubud has to offer. First, I recommend going down to the town center for some sightseeing. Here you'll be able to visit some of the many temples in the region. In addition, I recommend going down to the local market of Ubud. Here you can find many different arts and crafts, sarongs, which will make a perfect little souvenir. Next, no Ubud trip is really complete until you visit the famous Sacred Monkey Forest. As the forest consists of monkeys running around, it's important to note that the monkeys are still wild animals and therefore can act unpredictably. As such, it's important to pay attention to the guidance from the different signs and employees working at the facility. Want a change of scenery? If you have the time, you should definitely take a walk through the Kabuhan Ridge Walk. On the trail, you get to enjoy lush green scenery such as rice paddies, dense jungle, and small tea houses all across the trail. The trail is up to 6 miles in length, or 9 kilometers, which makes for a perfect little route if you're looking for a nice little morning run. For food, there are a few places that I can recommend. White Orchid for its delicious caramelized pork, a must order in my opinion. Swept Away for its gorgeous scenery and lovely dishes. Lokabore for the local gourmet experience. Or Melting Walk Lorong for that authentic Indonesian cuisine. When in Ubud or anywhere in Bali, I highly recommend renting a scooter. A scooter allows you to travel freely around the region and it's super affordable. The price of renting a scooter is usually around 50,000 rupees per day, which is around $4 or 3 euros. If you plan to rent for a week or even longer, you can usually negotiate for a much cheaper price. With our scooter, we decided to visit some of the nearby waterfalls. First on the list was Tekunangan Waterfall. This is perhaps the most well-known in the region and also the most crowded. Get here early to avoid the crowd. I recommend climbing the flight of stairs right next to the waterfall to get to the top, where you'll be greeted with a scene of man-made rock monuments and a nice little stream for you to dip your toes in. Next, we went to perhaps the most beautiful and by far my personal favorite, Tibu Mana Waterfall. Tibu Mana Waterfall is a bit on the off-beaten track. It's therefore a little tricky to find a place, as we found out.
Spain.
Try to ask the young locals for directions and try to look carefully for signs pointing towards the waterfall. If successful, you will be rewarded with one of the most scenic waterfalls on the island. It's important to point out that it costs a small fee to gain access to any of the waterfalls in the region.
Small fee.
The fee will be around 10 to 20,000 rupees. It's just important to be aware of these fees if you plan to visit anything in Bali, whether it's waterfalls or any natural attraction.
Pay me to look at my
So remember
waterfall.
to bring cash.
Okay. Oh, I bring cash. Okay. Yeah.
After
You leave in
Ubud,
pocket when you go
we
for
booked a
swimming.
transfer
Okay,
to
we've been
Padang
very
Bay
safe.
on the eastern side of the island.
Okay.
Here, we booked a fast boat to the Gili Islands and decided to stay at the largest of 3 islands, Gili T. Gili T is the most developed of the 3 islands and is also known for its party scene. If you're looking for a more secluded or more peaceful experience, Gili may just be the island for you. We stayed in Gili T for 3 days, which in my opinion is sufficient time to experience what the island has to offer. As for activities, rent a bike, as it will make it far easier for you to explore the island as it will only take approximately an hour and a half to bike all around the island. From there, you can book some snorkeling equipment to use on your nearby beach, or book a snorkeling boat trip for those more secluded spots. There are also plenty of scuba diving options available. Just walk down the main road and you can't miss them. If there's one thing you definitely need to check out, it would have to be the night market. Every night around 7 p.m., the locals set up their food carts filled with freshly caught seafood and local cuisines. If you're up for experiencing some local food with a nice cold bintang, the night market is made for you.
I don't want to be cat.
After Gili, we went back to the island of Bali, where we booked transport from Padang Bay to Seminyak. Seminyak is regarded as a suburb of Kuta and very popular amongst expats, with plenty of luxury hotels, high-class restaurants, and high-end shopping opportunities. If you want to experience a more luxurious environment in Bali, then Seminyak is the perfect location. However, if you're on a budget and you're mostly interested in the party scene, then Legian or Kuta may be more in your alleyway. Regardless, whether you stay in Kuta, Legian, or Seminyak, it'll only take around 10 to 20 minutes in a taxi to get to any of the other areas. So don't limit yourself during your trip to only one specific area.
Don't worry, I won't.
While in Seminyak, we got to experience a host of delicious food. I'm personally a big
try the
food
baked
lover,
beans. Oh man,
and this
they
felt like
taste so
heaven to me.
different. I know, and the lager.
Although the food
Italian as
prices
well.
are a bit more expensive
It's just
than
like
in
in
Ubud,
Spain.
it's still relatively more affordable compared to back home in Copenhagen or in the States when compared to equal level establishments. If you're interested in trying some spots out, here are my recommendations. Saigon Street for your Vietnamese food cravings, Sister Fields Cafe for your lunch hour hangout spot, Mamasan for a trip down Asia's finest offerings, Kuka for a casual but top-notch gourmet experience. If you're thirsty, then grab a seat at Potato Head Beach Club for some tasty cocktails and snacks by the beach. As for activities, if you aren't into the nightlife scene, I highly recommend booking some private island tours. We used a company called Bali Special Tour. They offer competitively priced packages and allows you to customize the trip any way you see fit. We booked a private tour to go dolphin watching at Lovina Beach. It was an awesome experience and one of my favorite moments of the trip. In addition, we also had the opportunity to visit Pura Ulundana Water Temple and the Tanala Temple. If you haven't got time, or if you really aren't into temples, I suggest skipping those, as they are usually really crowded and known for being tourist traps. No Bali trip is without beaches. We decided to go visit some beaches south of Kuta.
Beaches.
My favorite beach of them all
Beaches in Spain.
was
mate.
Green Ball
Seriously, got
Beach.
Spain instead. It's
Located
cheap.
down a cliffside, down through a set of stairs occupied by gang-like
Emphasise
monkeys,
it enough.
you will witness the bluest of
A lot
oceans,
cheaper than
soft
flying
sand,
halfway around
and
the world.
enthralling beach caves. So get your cameras ready, you won't regret it.
Taste of Asia, mate. Go to
Nusa Dua
Gili
provides
kebabs.
well-kept beaches located in a secluded resort area.
In Spain.
Blue Point Beach is known to be a surfer's hangout. This beach is mostly covered
Tarifa.
by rocks and cliffs with small patches of sand. It's not the ideal sunbathing spot, but you wouldn't really be interested in sunbathing if you come here anyways. The waves are incredibly strong, making it a surfer's dream. Lastly but not least, Bingin Beach. What can I say about
Last but
Bingin?
not least.
Beautiful cliffside views, beachside restaurants, front row seat for the sunset of your life. Everything you need in a
Everything
beach.
you need.
When you come down to Bingin Beach, walk through the rocky patch of the beach toward the abandoned buildings located on the north side of the beach.
Here we are.
Here, the beach is a lot more secluded. You'll be able to find some nice and soft sand to lay on while waiting for the sunset to arrive.
So far.
This marks the end of our trip in Bali. And of all the places I've been to, this was by far my favorite. The island of Bali has so much to offer for any traveler that you could stay here for weeks or even months. When I look back on all the footage, I simply cannot stop falling in love with the island all over again. I highly recommend taking a trip to Bali if you have the opportunity to do so. You will be met by lush locations,
Yeah.
mesmerizing nature,
I don't think
tons
so.
of activities,